Good morning, and thanks for being with us this morning. I'm trying to wrangle the supervisors up here. They're all enjoying visiting with everybody, and I appreciate you all coming. We've got a packed house this morning. This is really great. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm the communications director here at the county now. My name's Fields Mosley, and really my honor for this first year, for me being here, to be able to host this event and to be asked to host this event this morning. Many of you probably already know this if you've been at the county for quite some time. We are fortunate to have a Maricopa County Honor Guard, and this is made up of veterans, reservists, members of our National Guard here in Arizona, and I would ask you to stand now as they present the colors.
Present on.
Mr. Mike Rubino will come forward right now. He is an employee with he's with Employee Benefits and Health, and Mike is going to sing the national anthem for us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Jeff Fine is joining us from the Justice Court Administration. He is going to lead us in the invocation and the pledge. Jeff, as many of you might know, is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force and Air Force Reserve. He served in support operations of enduring freedom and Iraqi freedom. Jeff?
Chairman Shukri, board members, fellow veterans, and distinguished guests, please join me in prayer. Dear God, we gather to honor those stirred by a passion for freedom, who sacrificed to achieve and sustain this great nation, this community, and the freedoms that we enjoy. Today and together we honor our best and brightest, who have and continue to proudly stand and defend our beloved country. And today we acknowledge that their service enables us to walk as free men and women, to live in safety, and that while we enjoy the simpler and most enjoyable things in life, others voluntarily stand guard, sometimes in the harshest of conditions, often far from home and without the comforts we enjoy. We ask now that those who have served gain blessings from their unselfish love of country. For those who are currently serving, we ask for their protection, their strength, and for peace. We ask that their needs in serving this great nation be abundantly provided. And we ask for their strength to overcome the obstacles and hardships they routinely encounter, and that they and their loved ones would be protected from harm. Today, we also recognize those who suffer from the adverse effects that are often associated with service, our wounded warriors, our heroes afflicted by physical and emotional wounds, those contemplating suicide, and our homeless veterans. We ask that they would have the benefit of treatment and other blessings needed for them to overcome such adversity. And bless those who serve our veterans, for their work is most important. We are thankful for the service of all veterans. Their service saved us from fates of tyranny and oppression, and continue to protect us from the threats that exist in our world today. Let us cherish our veterans, respect them, thank them, honor them, and be proud of them. May they be blessed with peace and happiness, and may each of our veterans feel honored not just today, but every day. Continue to grant this board wisdom in their role as representatives of the community, and may Maricopa County continue to flourish. Amen. Please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you very much, Mike, for sharing your talents with us this morning. Just so great to have these kinds of county employees. Please take a seat, everybody. Now, some of you I'm going to ask to stand again because I'd like all of us to honor everybody in the room who is a veteran or an active member of the military right now. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much. I'd also like to acknowledge some of the elected officials, the dignitaries that are in the room today. Of course, we have all 5 members of our Board of Supervisors. Thank you so much for the work you allow me to do and the pleasure of working with you because it's been great. Also, our treasurer, Charles Hoskins, is here. Michael Jeans, clerk of the court. We also have presiding judge of the Superior Court, Janet Barton, is with us as well. Bill Montgomery, our county attorney, is with us, another veteran. And Representative Andrew Sherwood has also joined us today. So I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce the chairman of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, District 2 Supervisor, Steve Shukri.
You're tall, Fields. I'm looking around the room real quick just to make sure he didn't creep in, or sneak in, I should say. Denny Barney, I just spoke with him a few minutes ago, and unfortunately, he is stuck. They closed the I-10 this morning. I don't know if some of you may have experienced that. So he regrets he is rapidly trying to get here, but we'll be here shortly. With that being said, Michael, are you still here? There you are. I will readily admit that I have no singing ability, but if I did, I would want it to be just like yours. That was absolutely outstanding. You know, today is really, in many ways, a celebration of what we've accomplished, not only as a country, but the many of you who just stood a few moments ago to demonstrate and show what you've done, not only for Arizona, for the United States, but in particular Maricopa County. I know that Bill Montgomery was quite kind to take my invitation to come here today. And Bill, we're excited to hear from you. But aside from that, you know, 530,000 veterans are right here in the state of Arizona. And I'd like to think that we're getting ahead of the curve a little bit with this new board, with the leadership from many of my colleagues here on the board and what we've been able to accomplish. And a few of those things are initiatives. We've found permanent housing for the homeless, for many homeless veterans, thanks to the hard work of our county manager, Tom Manos, and in the city of Phoenix. We've also been able to retrofit homes for wounded veterans, which is a big deal when you stop to think about it. And the cost associated with that can be exponential. So we're very proud of being able to do that. And then most recently, or just a short time ago, thanks to the leadership of Clint Hickman, Mr. Supervisor Clint Hickman, excuse me, we were able to put together a website that has become just a terrific resource for our veterans. And so, there's always plenty more work to do, as they say, but I think more importantly, it's important that we get it right. And I think these programs to end homelessness, the website I just mentioned, and to retrofit these very well-deserving individuals' homes is getting it right. And we will continue to do that. But I want to just tell you how fortunate I am as chairman this year to have all of you here, and how today is such a great day. Veterans Day next week will be even better as we celebrate all that you have done for Maricopa County, our state, and our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Well, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, County Attorney Bill Montgomery. Has dedicated his personal and his professional life to serving others. Mr. Montgomery, as many of you know, is a West Point graduate and a Gulf War veteran, after which he received a Bronze Star. He later served as Deputy County Attorney before running for elected office. Please welcome County Attorney Bill Montgomery.
Well, thank you, Fields, and I want to thank the chairman for the invitation to be here this morning and to address everyone, as well as welcoming fellow elected officials and Judge Barton. So you heard the I-10 was shut down, so that's why I missed our meeting. And everybody else who's in attendance today, fellow veterans and family members and fellow employees of Maricopa County. Last month, October 23rd, was a 20th anniversary of when I relinquished command of K Troop, 3rd Squadron, and 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And it gave me the opportunity to think back on my own service in the military. And I don't think I've ever received any greater honor or privilege from our government than the two opportunities to lead soldiers. The first is a platoon leader with the 1st Cavalry Division in Operations Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and the second opportunity as a cavalry troop commander. This Veterans Day, though, I would ask that we pause and consider the impact of the men and women who have given their lives over the years since the battles of Lexington and Concord to help give birth to a new nation, preserve it, and then defend the principles that secure the blessings of liberty for us on faraway shores and in faraway lands. Then we should consider how best to honor the service of those who have gone before, who now serve, and who will follow in the noble line of defenders of freedom. Our victory over England was not a sure outcome when independence was declared on July 4th, 1776. It took the sacrifice of men in the field, women who aided American efforts, and the families who sacrificed at home. And to illustrate the nature of service during this time of war, we have the letter of Samuel Cooper, a militiaman from Roxbury, July 18th, 1775. He writes, "To my dear wife and children, I received yours, which I prize next to your person. The welfare of our family, I understand, is good. You tell me John is fat and rugged, which I rejoice to hear and prize above gold. The rest of our children I don't mention because I left them well. I shall give you but a short detail of affairs, for I expect this will not arrive. The state of the army is such that I can't tell when I shall come home, but I have encouragement of coming in about a month, but not certain. I want you to send me 2 pair of linen stockings, for I have had 2 pair stole. The rest are all wore out. I did not receive in your last letter to me what I expected, but hope to in the next. Dear Madam, I rejoice that I am able to acquaint you that I enjoy a good state of health, and God be praised, our company is hearty. The dangers we are to encounter I know not, but it shall never be said to my children, your father was a coward. Let the event be what it will. Be not troubled, make yourself easy. In due time I hope to return home in peace and enjoy the pleasures of worthy wife and loving children, and subscribe myself, your loving husband and father. This year, we celebrated the 150th anniversary of the end of the Civil War, a conflict brought about by the distance between who we claim to be as a nation, proclaiming in our Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal, with the reality of what we practiced and enabled, the enslavement of fellow men on the basis of the color of their skin. As a monumental sin offering in blood, over 600,000 Americans died on battlefields ranging from Vicksburg to Savannah and Chattanooga to Gettysburg. Union soldiers fought to end tyranny and preserve the Union. And as a reflection of service during that conflict, we have a letter written by William Norton from Hilton Head, October 8, 1862. My dear mother, hearing that there is a mail going out this afternoon, I thought I would improve the opportunity and write you a few lines. I'm sorry to tell you I'm not very well at present. I was taken sick about 3 weeks ago with chronic diarrhea and have been in the hospital about a fortnight. I have been pretty sick, but I'm getting better now and hope to be well in a few days. I would like to have you send some things which will come better in a barrel than anything else. I should like some good fresh eggs, a bottle of preserves, some lemons if you can get some good ones, some ginger root. Some butter would be very nice. It will come better in a tin can than in anything else. I would like some sugar too. I wish you would send a bottle of good cider vinegar also. I would like some pickled onions and some dried apples. Some prepared chocolate would taste first rate, as we do not get good tea and coffee. Some things never change. A towel and a couple of handkerchiefs will be very acceptable also. If there is any room for anything else, I wish that you would fill it up with onions and good sound apples that are not quite ripe, that they will keep better. Direct to the care of Captain Sanford. Please send it as soon as possible. I've not heard from you since I have been here, but should like to do so every mail. If convenient, please send $5 the next time you write. Give love to all inquiring friends, and believe me, ever your affectionate son, William Norton. In less than 100 years from that letter, America would fight 3 major wars overseas, one solely in Europe, and then in Europe and in Asia, and one solely in Southeast Asia. The wars known as World Wars I and II sought to preserve the ability of people to chart their own destinies in representative governments, opposed to totalitarian regimes that esteemed the state as the highest object of worship. But for the willingness of men and women to leave the shores of safety to fight for and with people from other countries, there is no way to be assured that America would stand as strong as she does today. In welcoming home heroes from each of our 2 wars, we rightfully honored veterans of battles such as Belleau Wood and the Argonne Forest in World War I, and from World War II, battles of Midway, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, the fighting in North Africa, and D-Day, the Battle of the Bulge, Monte Cassino, and untold other skirmishes and local operations. For the men and women who returned from Vietnam, it was a far different story. Over 58,000 Americans gave their lives for noble reasons in pursuit of noble goals, but our nation did not honor the service of those who sacrificed and did not reflect the honor of the sacrifice. And it was not until the first Gulf War that America looked with fresh eyes upon the immediate past generation who gave so much for so many and received so little. And at this time, in the event that there is anybody here in this audience who did not hear it, welcome home. Today, since 9/11/2001, nearly 7,000 Americans have given their lives and over 50,000 have been wounded, keeping evil at bay. With less than 1% now serving in uniform, compared to the 12% who served of our population during World War II, we need to be more vigilant than ever to recognize and honor military service. To paraphrase General George Washington, the degree to which future generations will be willing to serve, no matter how noble the cause, will be in direct proportion to how well they see us honor those who have served today. And how do we honor the service of those who have gone before? By shouldering the responsibility of being a citizen in a constitutional republic with all the nobility and honor that comes with that distinction. We honor those who gave their lives by not wasting the freedom they died for, and by participating in and contributing to the betterment of our communities and our fellow citizens. We honor them by not mistaking license for liberty and by not living the virtuous lives our Constitution relies on for sustenance, but by living out the virtuous command of being an American. How do we honor those who serve now? By remaining mindful that while less than 1% now serve in uniform, their families are among us, and those who serve will return home eventually. They will not ask for recognition, so we need to reach out and thank them and make them aware of what is available to help with transitioning back home from long deployments and transitioning from military duty to civilian status. And I'm honored to be part of a county in which we do that every day with the various initiatives that Chairman Trukri mentioned. What do we do for those who will serve in the future? We show them by our example how we recognize and honor military service, and we hand on a nation worth fighting and dying for. In closing, let us pray for the protection of all who serve in uniform, for their safe return, and for their families who patiently and steadfastly await their return, and to keep in mind the words of Abraham Lincoln from his second inaugural address, to make sure that we care for he that have borne the battle and his widow and orphan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Montgomery. Before we close today, I just had a personal note as I was thinking about hosting this event. Many of you know I spent 22 years in the journalism world, and I covered many stories, as journalists do, about heroism and the sacrifice made by our service members and, of course, their families. Sadly, many of the times it was covering their families as they were waiting for remains to come back to the United States from one theater or another. So whenever I work with veterans, I always take note of this, but I find many of them, some of them wear their service on their sleeve, others it's something that's just a part of them, but they don't have to do that, and they don't feel they want to do that. But I wanted to note a couple of people I work with on the 10th floor. Valerie Beckett doesn't want me to mention it. She's giving me a scowl over here. But she served in the Marine Corps, and I find it's interesting to watch her operate in this environment, and I work with her so closely, and I really, truly enjoy that. And sometimes I can tell that is a part of her experience. Also, Candace Steele from Clint Hickman's office continues to help her son recover after he was injured by an IED in 2012. Some great news coming this Saturday. He is getting a home. A house is being built for him. It's called Building Homes for Heroes, and he's going to be honored at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. That's great news for him. And I went around the 10th floor a little bit this morning. I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I was thinking, there's probably somebody else up here that I don't know is a veteran or served, or maybe perhaps their parents served, or their brother or their sister. The military doesn't touch as many Americans as it used to, sadly. And I think it was that shared sacrifice that it tied our country together for so long. But I always enjoy how my career I was able to touch those people and share in their stories and share their stories with a mass audience. And I feel as if their stories changed me for the better. So I want to thank them. I want to thank all the veterans. I want to thank their families. And I want to thank you for being here today to help us honor them in this week before Veterans Day. Thank you so much. That is the end of our program for today. You're welcome to stay for the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. If there's more food on the tables, if you want to leave, you're welcome to take some with you and have a snack on the way. Mid-morning breakfast, right? Thank you so much for being with us today.